Okay, I guess I'll die before the podcast.
Yeah, just super casually.
Welcome to the Flundon Brothers, and welcome back to the What a Time to Be Alive podcast. Um, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Tyler,
I'm Aspen.
and if you're not, welcome back. So for just before we kick in to the podcast, because we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
I want to just say that this is our, I think, sixth podcast that we're recording, but we're going to post it as our third one because what we're talking about today, for us, it's Tuesday, and for us, what we're talking about...
It's actually Halloween.
It is Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
for you weirdo mothers of Christians out there, Jesus ween. Anyway, if you celebrate...
You mean Happy Fall Festival? That's what I grew up on.
Wait.
I was Dorothy every year for Halloween with my little... I always wanted the little ruby red slippers. I finally got a pair, and then I became a man, and I said, fuck.
Yeah. I don't know why, but my camera keeps unfocusing.
It's almost like it has ADHD. Like us.
Yeah, literally. It's like it's on ADHD. It forgot to take its Adderall today.
Did we need to take Adderall today?
Well, if you go back and listen to the previous podcast, I can tell you why I don't take Adderall.
Great tie-in, I love that. That was fantastic. Look at us killing it.
And yes, I am sponsoring myself because I can do that.
Isn't it great when you're like your own boss and you can sponsor yourself and you're like, oh shit, guys, go listen to our other podcast.
So, as I was saying, we do have a lot to talk about. Well, a few things, a lot, whatever. Because for us, it's Halloween, which this year, 2023, it's a Tuesday. I don't know why I said that, like this one won't post till next year. Anyway...
Yeah, no, we're gonna sit on this specific content for a year.
Anyway,
we'll just post it next Halloween.
Right. Anyway,
Oh my God,
it's Halloween, which is a Tuesday this year, and what we're talking about came out on Friday, the 27th. If you still haven't been clued in what it is, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, and 1989 Taylor's version, which I tell you all about. I also listened to the original version, so I will talk about some of the changes that were made. But we both watched Five Nights at Freddy's.
That was a whole ordeal. Can we just talk about that for a minute? That was a whole ordeal.
Oh yeah.
That was
originally
a nightmare.
We originally wanted to like FaceTime each other and share our screens and watch it together.
Yeah. Or just FaceTime as we like play it at the same time, so we could real time react. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, it got to the point where I was like, "Well, you were going through something."
Oh yeah, that was just an awful day in general.
It got to the point where I was like, "Okay, nope, I'm sorry. I would love to watch it with you, but I cannot do it today because I'm the type of person where, like, if you're having a bad day, that it's okay to have a bad day, but at the same time, don't take it out on me."
And I will admit, I was taking it out a smidge on you. It wasn't like a conscientious effort, but it was just, I was just so livid with everything else that had happened
I know
that day.
you didn't mean to. I know you didn't mean to, but at the same time, I felt that, so my emotions kind of just shut down. I was like, I don't want to watch this movie with you anymore. At least not today.
It was just an awful, awful day. Because as at this point in time, as we're recording it, I've just moved, and what a journey that has been. I've still not finished moving, because of some technical difficulties.
I don't think I explained that, actually.
Oh.
Back to what I was originally going to say. This is coming out as our third podcast, but it's actually all like sixth podcast that we've recorded. So we'll be in different locations today, but then for the next three podcasts, the next two podcasts, I don't know anymore.
The next few podcasts.
The next few podcasts will be back in our original setups.
Yeah.
But then this should be at least my permanent spot. You're kind of, as they say, in between jobs at this point.
Well, to be fair, so are you.
Well, yeah. I meant in between, like, sets and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't have the energy to go. So currently my RV is in storage, which is the best place for her right now. I don't know why I've said her. She is definitely a man, but not the point. Excuse me for misgendering my RV. I will take that up with my therapist and reconvene later at a better time when I'm a better person. I'm sorry, that was on trauma. Which you'll see that in a couple episodes when I do a whole thing as my ex. And actually, I'm still wearing their shirt and their hat, so we're on theme right now.
Yeah,
I guess I'm cosplaying
the
as
hat
a douchebag.
That's the hat that he uses in that one episode.
Yeah, I'm cosplaying as an absolute douchebag today. So that's my Halloween costume.
You don't.
I'm cosplaying as a fuckboy.
Apparently.
Let's be honest, that's what that was. Anyways, but no, so I forgot so I'm currently at a house. We don't like brick and mortar living in this family. But yeah, so that's why we've got the lovely little gym mat acting as a sound, like, proof thing. And also just a decent background, because teal is my favorite color.
Yeah.
So.
Meanwhile, I have the pretty much plain wall, except for the
singular piece of art.
The singular piece of art. It's both good and bad Doctor Strange from the Multiverse of Madness, though. So it's
oh my god, wait!
good piece
I
of
now
art.
see that. That's so cute.
Yeah, the top one is the good one. The
yeah.
bottom one's the bad one.
That's so cute.
Or the evil one. He wasn't really
well,
bad,
let me go over
just...
my setup. So we have this wall here. That is a gym mat, and it's fantastic.
I
It's
thought
teal.
it was a mattress.
No, it's a gym mat, like for gymnastics.
It looked.
I was a gym kid.
Oh, okay.
And then on this wall here, we basically have the exact same thing as this wall. But it's got, the rest of the mat behind it. And I swear to God, if this falls down, just because I was trying to show that,
if it
I'm
falls
going
down,
to cry.
If it falls down, it'll be perfect.
Thankfully, it didn't. Yay me. Yay me! Sorry, my best friend and I just finished the Sweet Life on Deck series, as well as the Sweet Life
Lipton,
just in general. London Tipton.
Lipton.
You tried. Lipton. Great.
No, wait. Tundon Lipton. There we go.
There you go.
Alright,
so, yeah. Oh, really quickly before we start, I want to acknowledge Chandler Bing's passing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying Chandler Bing because a lot of people probably know him from that. But
Matthew Perry is his...
Unfortunately, Matthew Perry has passed on. And as someone who loved the Friends series, devastated.
Yeah, I love the Friends.
The parallels of like the fact that they called it out.
I won't be able to watch it the same.
Yeah, no, never again. Like that's something that, yeah.
Yeah.
That like that next watch through will be really painful.
I also remember I don't know when he actually wrote the statement, but it's been circulating around TikTok. It's like a little letter from Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to be known for Chandler Bing on the Friends. He wanted to be known for his hard work and dedication to serving the community, like through I don't know exactly what the letter, I forgot what it exactly says, but serving the community through like charities and soup kitchens and stuff like that.
That's really Nice. I've
So
not been on
let's
TikTok
not
the last
only
week.
acknowledge the point that he was Chandler Bing and Friends, and he brought a lot of comfort to a lot of people who watch that show.
Yeah.
But let's also remember him as the truly kind and caring person that he was.
The few articles that I've gotten to read on the situation, just it makes me so sad that I didn't get to, and I'm going to use quotation marks here, but know him on the level of just him as a person. Do you know what I mean? Because it was never something that it just wasn't my thing to follow, I guess. Maybe because I didn't necessarily grow up with Friends and I watched it more as an adult. But nonetheless, I think that the more that I've read about him, just the more incredible he just sounds, and the more that I wish that I could have enjoyed him while he was still here, which is a really weird way to word that, but I do hope that the sentiment comes across of because most people, I only really knew him from that, and so to I don't know, I feel like a lot of actresses and actors, when they are known for one thing, that just, they kind of let it go to their heads, and so to see that didn't go to his head is just incredible to me. I love that,
Yeah.
But truly, he will be missed, and I think the world has truly lost an incredible person. So.
Very well said. Alright.
Do we want to cover FNAF first? Because I will say I will pull it up on my screen.
The main topics of today are going to be the FNAF movie and 1989 Tale.
This is the last thing that I've been watching. Excuse Twilight at the bottom, just calling me out. I will admit this, once a year I get drunk as fuck and I watch the entirety of the Twilight because you gotta pay homage to the cringiness that it is. Sure. And every now and then you just want that.
Yeah. To be fair, I guess it's not really, you know what, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, to start off talking about the FNAF movie, now, I just want to say, well, for one, before we talk about it, since this is going to come out 2 weeks after the release, they're all going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it by now, if you haven't watched it by now, no judgment. I get it. I didn't watch the Super Mario Bros. Movie until yesterday. So. Oh,
I didn't know they had a movie.
Really? You didn't see any of the promotion for that?
I have not seen a single thing.
Wow. Okay, I guess I have another thing to talk about today. Anyway, so there. But also, to be fair,
Mario was never my thing. You know what I mean? I wasn't a video game kid.
There will be spoilers, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. The other thing I wanted to mention is I know a little bit about the lore for Five Nights at Freddy's.
I just watched the entire complete lore video, so I know all of it.
Oh, okay. Good.
We're in perfect standings.
And I just don't want viewers to come after me for getting one fact of FNAF wrong or saying that the movie is saying that the movie is actually better than what the video games portray. I just want to say I'm basing the movie off of my limited knowledge of Five Nights at Freddy's, and also the fact of how the movie stands as itself, not as in tribute to all the video games.
Yes. I will say also really quickly, I also have exclusively watched. I've seen Markiplier play it. I've seen Jack Septiceye play it, and I've seen Dan and Phil play their 3 episodes that they've done during Spooky Week. But my main source for my lore I'm getting from MatPat, because if you don't know who Matt Pat is, first of all, where have you been? Second of all, seriously, go binge all of his videos. I love, because he approaches it in such a scientific way that, like, I'm just obsessed with the way that he does it, the breakdown of it all, and it all just, like, blows your mind every time.
Yeah.
So that's my little Matt Pat plug.
I would say, coming from the movie as itself,
Sit on this because my little butt hurts.
the video games don't exist right now. It's just the movie, based off of the imagination of whoever made the games. I'm sorry, but I don't know who made the games.
I actually, unfortunately, Scott, I can't remember his last name. I think it was Scott.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me double check that. And if I'm wrong, we're cutting this part out.
No, if we're wrong, we'll just get
Dragged in the comments.
dragged by the FNAF community.
We'll be dragged to the fiery pits of hell, like the... What was his fucking name? I don't know. I can't remember. William whatever. Afton. The guy who... Never mind.
But, so, as a standalone movie, I think the movie was good.
Yes, Scott
Honestly,
Cawthon.
Scott...
That's probably backward.
Oh, I can see that. Scott Cawthon. It's not for me, but it might be for them.
If it is, I'm sorry.
I think the movie was good. I honestly would have I hated that the movie was so short. I know
it was a relatively short movie, yeah.
I know it's 5 nights, so there's only so much you can do within 5 nights.
Oh,
But
I didn't
at the
realize that
same
it was
time-
5 consecutive nights.
Yeah, it
or
was.
5 nights in general. Okay. That's cool. I like that concept. I didn't even...
Well, 5 Nights at Freddy's. But anyway,
Yeah.
I would have honestly liked it to be longer, and I don't know exactly what I would want of it to be longer, though, because I thought it was good. I think it could have... Now, I know it was rated PG-13, but I think it could have used a little bit more scariness.
Yeah, I was actually a little bit... Because Five Nights at Freddy is such an iconically scary game. Like, that was one of the first scary games that
yeah,
I
the games
ever,
are
like,
more... The games are scarier than
of.
the movie was.
Well, and I think that the lore is so much darker than what they cover in the movies.
Yeah.
Just again, as someone who is literally just about done with that, like, ultimate lore thing.
Okay, actually, since you read the lore, can you tell me if I'm correct or not?
Yes.
It was Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria's owner who killed the children, right?
Yes. So William, hold on, I've just forgotten his name again. I said it like 5 minutes ago. Afton. I think
William
it's Afton.
Afton, I think.
I think so. We're gonna go with that. I could be brutally butchering his name, but that's okay. He's a child killer. We don't support. We don't love. You know. But anyway, and again, this is based off of the Matt Pat's like ultimate FNAF lore.
Yeah.
Overarching narrative. So I'm not saying that this is... I don't know if this is 100% facts. This is just what I've literally watched in the last 30 minutes.
Okay.
Because other than that, it had been a while since I had done the FNAF thing. But basically, he, as a child, if my understanding is, he went to see, like, back during the Great Depression, went to see one of the, like, dancing bear shows. I think my cat just jumped from somewhere, and I don't exactly know where.
That meow was perfect timing, though, because you hear the thump, and then a second later you hear the meow. So it sounds like she's saying ow.
Oh, there you are. Hi. Are you alright? But anyway, so then that's where we think that he got the idea to create a dancing bear. Okay. And then that goes into, he made the dancing, he called it, I think, Freddy Bear, something like that. And then Henry, I can't remember the other creator's last name, basically after Freddy had come out with his, like, I think it wasn't the Family Diner, it was just, like, whatever his first endeavor was, the other guy, Not the pizzeria. The pizzeria was like the third thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe maybe this has a thing where it does the transcript. Let's see here. Hold on. So he then basically he then connected with this other dude who was making animatronics. That was like, that's where Chica and a bunch of other like the melody things came from. Okay. And then they joined together, and then he had, I believe, 3 children, an oldest son, I think a middle child who was the crying boy, and then the daughter. So the oldest son liked to pick on the younger son, and at one point the older son basically got the younger son killed by putting him up near Golden Freddy's mouth, and he didn't make it. So that's how Golden Freddy got his soul, I think. And then after that, that's kind of when we kind of have the fall of all of that, which then we get to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and eventually he lures the other children with his Golden Bonnie suit, which eventually the Golden Bonnie turns into Springtrap. So he eventually does get trapped in Springtrap. But basically, yeah. So
I didn't know Springtrap and the Yellow Bunny were different, or were the same.
I didn't either. I had no idea. But interestingly enough, because Golden Bonnie was actually the first one that he created. That was like his own. That was his creation.
Gold Bunny doesn't. So the whole in the movie, Gold Bunny is actually the owner, just in an animatronic costume.
Yes.
Is that not true in the original, or was that not true in the original lore?
It is. So over the years, they basically kind of evolved the mechanics of it. So originally, William just had the kind of like Mickey Mouse suits, like for Disney. Like that was kind of his original thing. And then he saw that I think Henry, and I can't remember Henry's last name, was doing something else with literal like animatronic robots. And so they eventually got together and merged those two ideas. And that's how the suits could also have people inside of them. But also be fully robotic animatronics in and of themselves. So
I don't know if you saw, but there was a end credit scene after like the main credits.
Yes, where that other YouTuber like gets eaten by Golden Freddy.
No, I didn't see that.
Maybe he didn't get eaten.
No, the scene after the main end credits was the boy that's possessing Freddy is closing the door on the owner.
Springtrap? Oh, yeah. Okay, so that does tie into the lore, yes.
Is that kind of like a prelude to Springtrap? He gets locked in the storage room or whatever, and he becomes Springtrap?
The way that it actually happens is, it actually does happen very similar to how it happened in the movie. The original animatronic do end up killing
him.
So, but it's, if I understand correctly, it's, again, I've literally watched this like 5 seconds ago. I don't have perfect recollection of everything that's going on. Listen, I'm struggling. Also, my cat is being the sweetest little baby ever. And
I saw that little
distracted. Did you see her? She was so sweet. But yeah, so eventually the children do, but it is the children's spirit that gang up on William and eventually do kill him, and then Henry basically turns his back on William because originally, and I think that, and if I'm honest, I think that's what's opening us up for a second movie.
Okay. Because
that's kind of, I'm guessing, kind of how it happened, because he comes back and he is luring more children, because now he's just trapped in a suit and he's still alive.
Yeah, because now we have a whole nother animatronic.
Exactly.
Okay, so
I don't think I explained any of that well, but I tried.
You did just lead it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good
So
at
in terms
like
of someone who just read the lore, mind you, not someone who's studied the lore for
no, I'm no
20
Matt Pat.
years.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been around for 20 years.
Yeah, it's 10
only
years.
been around for 10 years. But as we're both not, die-hard FNAF fans,
I would love to be, though.
About it. I would be too, honestly. But anyway, in terms of like lore, in terms of how much the movie actually follows the lore of the original video games, what would you rate it?
Honestly, I would give it out of 5. I would give it a 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I think it did pretty. I think it did pretty well because I think so. And there are things that I learned just by watching the lore stuff that I didn't realize were so tied in from the movie. But also, Matt Pat was literally in the movie. They're gonna do a pretty decent job sticking to that lore.
Yeah, that's true.
Not only was Matt Pat there, but the creator Scott was also had a very heavy hand in everything. Matt Pat in his video where he's like, it's out, like I was in the movie and this is something that I've been waiting a year to be able to talk about. He says that like that the day that the Scott came to the set, they were talking about, okay, these outfits need to be this way and this, and like, so he had such a hand in it that it was right down to like people that like weren't really even in the lore of like their outfits. So I think that I think when somebody who's created such an incredible game and put their heart and their soul and their energy into something like that, and then they're able to have a hand in the creation of the movie, I think that's really incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm hoping, let me put it that way, I'm hoping that this will open us up into a second movie, because I would like to see kind of just the lore, if that makes sense, where it's talking about, I want us to see William's story as the kid who's going to see the bear, as the father who's lost his son, as the ups and the downs and the this and the that, and turning into this, serial killer and essentially mad scientist. I want to see that progression, and I think that could be such an interesting story to tell. Mm-hmm. And since they've opened up Springtrap as Springtrap, I would love to see basically the what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Not the rise and the fall of William. I said his last name 5 minutes ago. Arfin. Whatever his last name is, I would love to see kind of his inspiration come to life, his downfall, his up.
Yeah.
I want to see that story, and I think because they've opened it up in such a way, I honestly, I kind of am obsessed when films and TVs are so intricately lore-based that you can start at the end of a story and make it the middle of the story, if that makes sense.
So, I think that while that would be a good whole separate film, I feel like that also, a little snippet of that origin story would have been good at the beginning of this movie as well, because and this is coming from someone who doesn't know anything about FNAF, because I'm sure a lot of people went and saw FNAF who don't actually know anything about FNAF.
Right. And of course, then you've got some pretty like hard hitters as far as like PETA, what's his name? Josh Hutcherson, right? That's his name. There are like 5 different Joshes in the like
I know.
Mainstream media that I'm like, I don't know. Ow! Oh, baby, I know. Ow, that actually went into my leg.
Yeah, because a lot of people
Sorry.
know Josh Hutcherson. I mean, there's a lot of films that he's been in, but a lot of people know him
His
from
most
the Hunger
iconic,
Games as
yeah.
well.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, is kind of one of the only reasons that I watched the movie, and I think that's why they had him play it, because that was calling back on, like, oh, he's in another scary situation.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, most of his movies have been, if
Kind
not
of horror
scary,
based.
they've been kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But I like that. I think, stick to what you know or something.
Yeah.
But I do want to see him in a rom-com, because for some reason, I just want to see that.
Amazing.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yes.
Because we get that sweetness of PETA, but, like... Anyway,
Well,
sorry.
I'm just gonna say it now. Like Jensen Ackles, the man himself, he is aging like
The man,
5'1".
the myth, the legend.
Josh Hutcherson is also aging like fine wine. Not as much as
Fantastically.
Jensen Ackles, but as you said, fantastically.
He's...
Um,
I'm gay as fuck, alright?
I think
but
it was
God
the
damn.
first. It was either the first or second. It was either the first, second, or third. It was one of the Hunger Game movies where I don't know if it was the makeup or just how his physique was, but he had such straight
that
jawlines.
was when that was was that when he was in the white suit when he had the tracker jacker on?
Yeah, I think he had blonde hair too, didn't he?
He did, and I will admit I wasn't a huge fan of like the Tracker Jacker Venom storyline. I thought that it played its part, but
Yeah.
even I will admit, god damn, he looked good. Oh,
He did, but really straight and like strict jawlines like that.
Yeah,
kind
I
of,
don't know how they
kind
just,
of like
they killed it.
I just don't like people that have unnaturally cut facades. It looks unnatural, which really straight jaws have that unset.
I agree with that, but
I will talk
think
about
he
that
pulled
later
it off
because that little
nicely.
frog reminds me
It's
of
an
something.
alligator. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. That little alligator still reminds me of something, but I'll talk about it later when we get on that topic.
No worries. I just want to see if I can forget about
But
him.
yeah, I think all the things... That's another thing I didn't like about the movie. So, the movie kind of opens up with Josh Hutcherson. I forgot his name on the thing.
Mike.
So, Mike.
Which is interesting because that also plays into the lore because I believe the oldest son in the FNAF lore was called Mike. Because the theory is that he's the one that's basically going to all of the different locations and being the security guard, so that way he can burn them down and get rid of his father's atrocities. Which does also kind of fit into that too, because his younger brother got disappeared and killed by... Exactly, and then the sister was being...
Isn't his younger brother one of the animatronics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or something to that extent.
Which,
so I think
by
that's
the way, that never
plays
gets explained.
into.
That never gets explained as to
Mike.
which animatronic is his little brother. I would
Yeah,
have
that
liked to
was
know,
also-
but at the same time, that mystery...
But no, because that doesn't also make sense, because in the lore, I think he's supposed to be Golden Freddy. But
Okay.
Golden Freddy was not, unless he just, couldn't recognize his own brother.
Maybe. But
Because
yes,
then he's trying to
you're
prevent
correct.
his sister from being
I
taken
don't-
and putting into the baby.
Yeah, you're correct, because Golden Freddy's not in the movie, and I don't think I think he doesn't even appear in the games until, the second or third one.
Well, the interesting thing is that if I remember correctly, because there are, if you think about back in the forest, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, and that 5th kid is in the middle. That 5th kid with the blonde hair is meant to be Golden Freddy, I think.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I mean by I don't think that he recognizes his brother as his brother. But also in the lore, the crying boy who is his brother doesn't have a name. So the fact that they named him Garrett, I think is interesting, if that is the overarching storyline here. Because Abby, which I think is the sister's name in the movie, is basically when she was being I guess, like, trying to be put into one of the animatronics. She was put into the baby, like, from the sister location, which does heavily tie into the lore. So I think that it would be very, very interesting for us to get that second movie where we realize that Mike is the son of... But that also doesn't really make sense because the cop was also the daughter, and that's just a lot.
Yeah, that would be another Luke and Leia situation. That would be kind of weird.
And I can't.
Yeah, that would be weird for the FNAF universe. That would be weird.
Please no.
But that would be cool to have like an origin story for how we got to this point, and also like a sister location movie.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I went into it, like you said, when you started watching it, it got a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Even for Rotten Tomatoes, that is super low. And I was like, what am I getting?
Yeah, I was not
into?
Anticipating to liking it. And I it wasn't like I probably won't like, unless we do like a lore thing where I like just go super hard and I become FNAF. And then I just give the lore breakdown. I don't really anticipate watching it again. Except maybe around like Halloween.
Yeah, I may watch it as like a Halloween movie, but it probably wouldn't be a go-to movie unless I wanted to watch Josh Hutcherson for some reason. But that's another thing I didn't like about the movie. So they started to get into a plot line where their aunt is trying to take his sister away from him. And they explain it briefly, and he even gets the papers from her, and the papers get stuck in the drawer. But then nothing comes of it. And also, like, she gets, I think...
Murdered?
Well...
I don't think they ever... The aunt, didn't she get murdered by Freddy?
No, she doesn't get murdered.
Golden Freddy does show up. Yes, Freddy, because Golden Freddy is the one that shows up and takes
she gets murdered by Freddy. She gets murdered by Freddy because Freddy goes back to the house to get the sister.
But that wasn't just Freddy, that was Golden Freddy.
That was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she sees Golden Freddy as that little boy with the like shirt, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the blonde kid.
Yeah, so the blonde kid is Golden Freddy. Assuming that I'm correct in that, if the blonde kid is Golden Freddy, then Golden Freddy came back to get her. And
that wouldn't make sense because that would mean the Cupcake wasn't a possessed animatronic.
I think Cupcake is just something that's like
an animatronic,
like a limb of Chica.
Yeah, like
I could be very wrong about that. Don't fucking come for me. I am not Matt Pat. Thank you.
Yes. Remember, we all amateur Five Nights at Freddy's.
I don't even think we are amateurs. I think we are just two people who were like, "Oh, this movie looks cool. Let's watch it and talk about it." Like the most that I've seen is FNAF 1. I've seen like one episode of FNAF 2 and I think one episode of FNAF 3 where they're like in the house. Because I've learned so much. Did you know that that's actually supposed to be Mike as a kid? Like, because his dad was doing experiments on him to keep him inside the house, how he wasn't escaping. Yeah, it gets weird, man.
Jeez.
I thought that this was just like a Chuck E. Cheese knockoff that was like supposed to be scary. Like that's all I thought that I was getting into, and then I like actually look in the lore and I'm like, oh my god.
But I mean, going back to my point, like they start to get into that whole. Well, I guess that answers it because if the aunt ultimately dies, then there's no cold case anymore. I just answered my own question, I guess. But I also
good because I'm not gonna lie to you, I was not paying attention. My best friend texted me. Apparently,
I also thought it was kind of weird that they would set up that kind of line where he has to not only save his sisters from the animatronics, but also save his sister from his aunt. They kind of set that up, but then they just kill her off. It was kind of weird to me. I'm like, why would you set that up if...
Maybe they needed a villain for those who don't know who the true villain is?
Well, I also have to look at it this way.
Question mark?
in order for him to keep his sister, he had to get a new job. And he wouldn't have taken that job if he didn't have to worry about keeping his sister. So
can we talk about how the babysitter was actually like evil and then gets killed herself?
I know. Okay,
that really threw me off. Because I thought they were friends, and then she just throws him under the bus and is like,
well, no,
let me help his demise?
I originally thought that she was gonna be the, like, kind of on the fence character who sides with the aunt, but then eventually it's like, no, you need to stop this.
I thought so too, because I thought that her brother was just money hungry and wanted money and forced her to do it. But then she gets killed off, and I was very confused. And I don't know if that whole thing was supposed to be, were those meant to be the, like...
That, well, Hull getting...
Did they
wake
up the animatronics?
Well, yeah, because they went and trashed the place in the middle of the night, which, well, not really in the middle of the night, in the early morning, which I hate... Now, this is real world practical coming into my head, but I hate the fact that Mike gets in trouble, or he almost gets in trouble, for them vandalizing the place, even clearly when the cop was there with him the whole night, and then it gets vandalized after he leaves.
But see, can we talk about how the fact that the cop was literally the daughter of... Because that threw me the fuck off. Because, like, I get it. I guess I get that her whole concept was supposed to be, oh, you're supposed to keep an eye on him and make sure that he doesn't get too close to the information.
Well, I started to realize that she knew more about the animatronics than she was leading on. When we got to that scene where when she blew up on Mike for bringing, what's her name
Abby,
again?
I think.
Abby. Bringing Abby there to the first place. She blew up on him, and I was like, she knows something that we're not getting yet.
But also, not only that, like, she just... Everything about her... I just thought maybe she, like, had grown up going there, and she, like, knew the, like, stories really well. I didn't think that it was going to be, oh, by the way, my dad murdered a bunch of people in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that either. I just thought it was going to be she knew that the animatronics wanted to kidnap other children. Well, kill people, but also take other children to become like them. And that's why she blew up on him when she bought Abby, because she was trying to protect Abby.
But the thing is, I don't fully understand that either, because she was, like, not encouraging, but she was, like, showing Abby around and being like, it's fine for, like, Abby to, like, interact with them. And, like, but then it changed so suddenly.
Yeah, because it was originally, she was showing Abby around to the animatronics and being all friendly, but then Mike was like, she shouldn't be near those animatronics. She shouldn't be interacting with them. But then all of a sudden they switched. Or, like, she just went way this way and was like, no, you can't bring her here again.
That didn't, like, really,
okay.
And maybe that's a lore thing that I am just not aware of. But that didn't, and if it is, please let me know, because I genuinely want to learn more. I want to understand. Because maybe this movie is just the best movie ever created, and it just went right over our heads.
I get it because she, as much as she didn't want Mike to be there was always a security guard working, so I think she wanted to lead on that, like, it's completely fine for you to work here, but at the same time she wanted to protect Abby. But in, real life situations, that was not the way to go about it.
Yeah. Which, it's I guess, technically a horror movie. What horror movie person makes good choices?
The thing about the horror movie part of it, so now that I've seen this version, I kind of want to see a rated R version. But So I knew it was PG-13, so I knew it wouldn't be that scary. Um, but I did expect a little more jump scares and a little more like actual scales from it.
Yeah, I turned off my lights and like got under my
Although
covers, expecting to be terrified, and I was like, you know what? Okay.
although I was not expecting that, I wasn't expecting the babysitter to get chopped in half. Um,
But see,
but at the
that
same
does play
time,
into how the crying boy died, because that's
yeah,
exactly
at the same
how the
time,
crying
I've
boy
heard
died.
all this stuff now about the bite of 87 and how that was supposed to represent the bite of 87.
Is that what
And
it's
I was
called?
like, oh, yes, that's what it's called. Everyone put out
I love
TikTok
that.
videos being like, when the bite of 87 is actually in the movie. I'm like, oh, is that what that is?
See, like I said, I didn't know the lore until literally half an hour ago. Actually, we might have been filming for 30 minutes at this point, so I don't know. But, like, I didn't know the lore that well until today.
It's been almost 50. Anyway.
Also, I really want to drink my water because I see you drinking yours, but this is how much of the water my cat has drank, so that's probably all of my cat's saliva. And I love this thing more than I care to admit. I do. This thing is the reason that I am alive, but also, and I am allergic to cats.
True.
She's a hyperallergenic, just to be clear, and I took Benadryl.
So overall, ending my discussion of FNAF, unless you want to say some more things.
Okay.
Overall, I think it was a good movie standalone.
Yes.
I can't talk much about it in context of the video games because while I've watched like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and a few other people play those games, and I know a little bit of the lore, I only know a little bit. So I can't talk about the movie in context of it. So I'm just going to say, as a standalone movie, it was good. I kind of expected a little bit more whole to it, especially because they released it right before Halloween.
Yeah, I didn't think that
knew
was the thing.
Not to expect a lot because it was rated PG-13, but it could have also done a little more, which I don't know the guidelines on what a PG-13 can and can't have, but I definitely wanted more whole, and that's kind of all I say about the movie. If they do make a second one or an origin story, I would want that to be rated all, and maybe not like a whole movie like The Nun or The Exorcist, but like whole enough where it gets me like I'm very uncomfortable.
Like, at least a little bit more of a Five Nights at... Not a Five Nights at Freddy's. That's literally the movie we're talking about. I'm so sorry. At least a little bit like more of, like, a Friday the 13th vibe.
Yeah. Even the games
That's more what I want.
Even the games have been scarier than the movie was.
Yeah.
And I would like at least the same amount of whole jumping out of your chair and stuff like that.
My thoughts is, I like the movie as a standalone. I do want a second one where they do the origin story, specifically following William, whatever his fucking name is. I did like that they showed the animatronics, and this is something we haven't talked about. I did like that they showed the animatronics as the way they were meant to be, where they're like interacting with the kids and like, let's build a fort and like whatever. I liked that. I like that we got to see kind of, not a more human, because that's really dark sounding considering what we know about them, but I like that we got to see more of the intent behind what they were meant to be. And I, as someone who likes horror but doesn't want to like piss themselves every 5 minutes, I thought that it could have used a few more like...
Yeah, like I don't want it to be so scary that I'm like having nightmares for the rest of my life. I just want
I don't need a Saw. I just need like a Friday the 13th.
I just want it to be scary enough. Like put some blood in the next one, put some guts in the next one. Put some actual legit jump scares. Like I think from what I remember, the only jump scares in the movie was really with Balloon Boy, and
Yeah.
Those did get me.
Those didn't really get me, but there was like okay.
They got me in, like, the quickest way. I jumped a little, but then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Ow. But more jump scares that actually, like, keep me scared and keep me uncomfortable. That was Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes.
The next big thing we wanted to talk about was 1989 Taylor's version that came out the same day as Five Nights at Freddy's.
And we were originally going to film this on that day. That did not happen.
Yeah, no.
It was
also, can we just acknowledge that Miss Queen Taylor Swift really likes to release albums in October? So this is the last day of October. We are filming this on Halloween night. You will get it in like the middle of November, but we are filming this on Halloween night. And in the span of 1 month, it's been the self-titled or debut album anniversary. It's been Speak Now original versions anniversary. It's been Red original versions anniversary. It's been not only 1989 original version, but it's been not only original version of 1989's anniversary, but the new birthday of 1989 Taylor's version. It's also been 1 year since Midnight's anniversary.
Oh wow, that's like
six albums.
And she has how many currently?
5 anniversaries and 1 new release. She has... Oh, okay. Technically, she has 10 studio albums, but if you count the re-records, that's 14.
Okay.
So she has 14 albums in total, and 6 of them were released in October alone. That's almost half. This girl really likes October for some reason, which it's spooky season, so...
As a non-Swiftie, is there Taylor Swift lore that involves October, or is that something that she's hinting at?
So...
Because listen, I'm not like a Taylor stan. I understand very basic things that you've explained to me.
To remind everyone, out of the two of us, I am the Swiftie.
I'm the Harry Styles One Direction person.
I hate calling myself a Swiftie, but I am.
Yeah, you really do.
I'm not toxic, though, so at least we have that.
I mean, maybe. We'll find out!
But I also don't know every little thing, because I'm not like some people who literally research Taylor Swift 24/7. As far as I know, there's nothing about October necessarily, but at the same time, I don't know when. Maybe she's setting us up. Yeah, but I don't know when, but there is usually an award show in November, December, or January. I don't know when the submissions are needed, but if the submissions are needed by like November 1st, maybe that's why, because, everyone's new album is usually the most popular right when it comes out.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something there, maybe
it's
not.
A marketing thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a marketing thing.
But I would love for her to do something where, like, she has lore. Which she does have lore, but I want her to have something with, like, October lore. Also, ever since I've been watching MatPat again, I have to say lore, just like that.
Lore.
Ah, look at the kitty!
Well, her usual schedule was every 2 years she would release new music. But ever since COVID and her starting her re-records, we've gotten something literally like every 6 months to a year at this point.
Ow! My cat is beating the shit out of my hand.
Why?
Because I'm playing with her and she has claws. And she has my arm trapped and is kicking them with her little tootsies.
1989, Taylor's version came out on Friday, the 27th of October, the same day and the same time as Five Nights at Freddy's. So for some of you...
Oh, I didn't know it was the same time, too.
Yeah, they both came out at 12 a.m. So for some of you, October 27th was Five Nights of 1989.
LOL.
Which it would have been for me, but the movie situation. Anyway.
The movie situation.
Yeah. It is so much better than the original version. And the one thing I hate about Taylor's versions is when they come out, there's always that group of people who jump on the social media and are like, this song isn't the same. It doesn't sound exactly like it did. It sounds worse, blah, 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 blah. Newsflash, it's called Taylor's version for a reason. Why do you think it sounds different?
Yeah, it can't be the exact same song.
Oh, maybe because the last time you first heard 1989 for the first time was 10 years ago, and...
Ow! Ow!
In 10 years...
Give me a second. Hold on. Ow! Ow! My cat is trying to kill me. Oh, shit. Okay, I love you so much. That actually really hurt. We're done.
And, which most of these people jump on preemptively and just haven't gotten used to the Taylor's versions yet. But
yeah,
some of these people are genuinely like, oh, Blank Space sounds different. It sounds weird. Oh, Style is not good anymore. New Romantics isn't good. But I'm like, you've been listening to the other version for 10 years now. You either need to get used to it or you're just being stupid. But anyway...
But also she's grown as a person since she came out with
It's called Taylor's version because it's what she originally wanted to put out. But her studio kind of suppressed her. And because you got to remember, 1989 was the first album where she completely flipped genres. And there is an interview out there, but her record label at the time, Big Machine, didn't want her to switch genres, but she was like, no, I'm going to, because Red, the previous album that came out, didn't get nominated for Grammy, I think? Didn't get nominated for Grammys. Or didn't get nominated for certain Grammys. So she was like, okay, well, they either don't like me anymore, or I need to change up my music style. Which, thank God, she went with, I need to change up my music style, not everyone hates me.
Well, that was kind of the era that then like everyone hated her.
1989 and Reputation and Level and Folklore and Evermore Minutes. Anyway, but yeah, that was also the time when the media was kind of scrutinizing her for being dating too many men, being a 20-something-year-old Swift woman. Anyway.
Which, if you want to be a little slut, be a little slut. No judgment here. What? Who hasn't been through a slut phase?
If it was a 20-something-year-old man, the media wouldn't have gone off his hard.
But also, I do think that just again, as a Harry Styles person, a lot of people did give Harry Styles shit for being a womanizer. Yeah. But it wasn't as loud as like, ooh, you're a slut. You know what I mean?
Well, they gave a lot of shit to Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift was in her mid-20s. Oh, I think Taylor Swift was 22 and Haley was 18, which for some reason...
weird shit. Because if you actually believe that they really dated, you're a fucking idiot. They dated for they went out on one path walk. Shut up.
I think it was a little more than that because there's a lot of songs in that album about Haley. But
I think we've also established I don't believe any. I'm a no stunt. I don't believe in any of the fucking stunts. I cannot with the fucking stunts. I'm sure he's dated women, But I don't think it's as serious as people make it out to be. I think it's just, I don't even think it's like proper dating. I think it's just hanging out with people. Like, I am a no stunt, and you can drag me to the pits of hell. I will die on that bridge. I am a Larry no stunt. I don't know if I'm buzzing. Buzzing is very complicated.
I don't think if they didn't actually date, I don't think she would have written "Is It Over Now."
But also, if they didn't date and it was portrayed in the media that they did date, it would be really fucking weird if neither one of them had written anything about their dating life. Do you know what I mean?
True, but at the same time, if it was the media saying that they were dating, they could have both.
No, it's management. It's management that's forcing them to like pretend to be people that they're not, because image is everything in Hollywood, and if you're not with them, you're against them, and it's a very cutthroat fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, when I tell you that I've, like, done research on this, it's in depth. Like, about the same amount of MatPat putting into FNAF is what I've put into, like, Harry Styles probably not being completely straight.
Well, even if he isn't completely straight, he still could have dated Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but I don't think that he would have. I just don't see that as a, like, legit thing that would have happened naturally.
Even when he was 18?
He was 18 years old. She was 22.
Okay. Some guys
he was
like
freshly 18. He was freshly 18. And if you're down to date a freshly 18-year-old at 22, you need to check yourself.
What if he wanted to date Hull?
I don't think he would have.
Because I wanted to date Charlie when I was 19, so...
Yeah, but you were 19, not freshly 18.
Okay, but still.
This is something that we will never agree on, and we've established this. And if we don't keep it reined in, the claws will come out.
Well, I think that they were in a genuine relationship, because if you listen to the music, you can hear like her talking about the relationship. But you just.
But also, Harry Styles can literally murder somebody. Harry Styles could murder me, and I would say thank you, Daddy.
We've talked about this. Taylor Swift did it.
Probably has murdered several people, and I still kind of think that they committed vehicular manslaughter together. Like, I also low key wouldn't be surprised she's like robbed
nobody,
a bank or
no
something.
crime. She killed her best friend's husband.
Because he killed her best friend. What the fuck just happened?
Getaway call.
Did you see that?
No.
Wait, no, shut the fuck up. Did you see that?
No.
I swear to fucking Christ above, I like saw like a gray mist pass through this space here. I'm in the room that like my dad died like 3 feet that way. Does my dad have thoughts on this? Father?
So,
wait, oh my god, maybe he knows.
But yeah, there's style, and then like all the vault tracks are essentially some aspect about what their relationship was, if I'm right, and what their relationship would have been like if you're right. But Slut is literally whole being like, so Slut ended up being a like it ended up being like the same as Blank Space, but instead of a like fun poppy song, it was a kind of sad melancholy song.
Oh, okay.
Which I've heard a lot of rumors about, like she wanted to put that one on the album. Well,
yeah.
She wrote that one before Blank Space, but she wanted 1989 to be sonically cohesive, so she wrote Blank Space. Which both of them are great. I can't imagine not getting Blank Space in 2014 and having to wait for Blank Space to be a vault track on Taylor's version.
But also, in theory, you wouldn't have known a difference.
True. But if you do listen to like the whole album and then you listen to Slut, it's like this doesn't fit the vibe of 1989. Because 1989 is such like a fun and poppy album, and then all the I'd say all the songs are all poppy, except Slut. Well, Slut is pop, but it's like a slow pop.
Okay.
But you could probably weigh in on this on the next podcast if you actually listen to the vault tracks. But
I have, but recently I've been on a Below Deck kick, so my life has just revolved around Below Deck.
I would say that either Say Don't Go or Suburban Legends is my favorite vault track. I can't decide which because they're both great.
Yeah.
Some people started posting about how Suburban Legends is about her and Haley and like what they were supposed to be, but before I heard that, I heard about how Suburban Legends is kind of supposed to be like how some of her friendships, some of her good friends broke ties with her after the media started calling her out for being a slut.
Mm-hmm.
And then, later when the whole Kanye and Kim situation happens, even more really close friends cut ties with her because they end up siding with Kanye. Which
why?
is so stupid. I don't know why anyone would side with him.
I mean, he's
unless
a
you're
literal
anti-Semitic,
Nazi, so.
but
I love that we went for the same point there. We were like, yeah, he's a Nazi. Let's just be honest here.
anyway,
Which doesn't make sense. I think this man does not know what universe he's in. I don't think he knows the plane of existence. And you know what? I kind of feel bad for him for that because you gotta have some crazy mental disorders to think the things that he thinks.
yeah.
And if either one of us die mysteriously after this, Kanye did it.
Nobody, no crime. Oh wait, he's probably not small enough to dispose of my body.
Okay, you're gonna actually get yourself killed. Shut the fuck up. As my little brother, if you don't shut your fucking mouth, it wouldn't be that hard to figure out, babes. It would not be that hard to figure out. Have you seen the guy on TikTok who, like, people will be like, alright, I'm here, and then he's like, alright, here's everything I know about you. Down to, like, your birthday. And
no,
it's
but I've
creepy.
seen people who play, like, GeoTrackle, and they are insanely good at it. And, like, how do you recognize which country it is by the freaking road?
I mean, it's not that hard.
I can't do that.
I can figure out some of them. Like, I know an American road versus, like, a different, like a Canadian road.
So,
For those of you who are asking if I've mentally checked out of this conversation, yes I have, because Taylor Swift is not my thing. I'm trying my hardest to stay focused and not just completely dissociate right now.
I'm saying
Taylor
it
Swift
more.
is a little
How about this?
traumatic.
I'm saying it more to the fans watching than to you.
The fans, we have fans now.
I'm saying more to it the Taylor
So
Swift
you're saying
people.
to Charlie, Mystique, and like maybe 2 other people.
Wow, you underestimate everything. You underestimate.
Oh
my
wait, no,
power.
because you also
You
forgot
underestimate my power.
you forgot about Charlie's boss. Hi, Charlie's boss. Thanks for watching. I love the idea that he just has this on in the background, and I just specifically call him out every episode. Hey, and he's like, "Oh, hey."
So another thing that gets me is that so many people hate how much more synth there is in the Taylor's version songs now. But I don't know what it is about 80s synth pop, but apparently I'm the only one in the world who likes 80s synth pop. She made the whole entire album more 80s synth than it already was, and I am in love with it.
Do you need to go potty? Hold on, let me get this cat to a bathroom. Give me a second. You can keep talking, because it's not like I was listening anyways.
Yeah, I know. See what grateful of a friend he is.
Come here.
But I do like it. The first time I listened to the vault tracks, I was kind of like, hold on, wait a minute. These don't sonically fit with the album. But they grew on me. I like them. I will still say that I like the Speak Now vault tracks way more, and I think I'm going to stick with that because these songs have grown on me, but I don't think 1989 vault tracks will ever beat out Speak Now vault tracks. Now, Reputation vault tracks, depending on those, it might work. This one is not going to be able to live with me when Reputation TV.
No, I'm not going to be able to. I hope you can hear me. No, because you're gonna. No.
And guess what? There's a rumor that it's getting announced at the Grammys on November 10th. So.
Oh, well, so I could just get to deal with that ASAP, don't I? Yay, me. Well,
Which, you'll say
Sorry, I fell.
all of this about tuning out about Taylor Swift. You know I'd do it if you talked about Harry Styles like I talked about Taylor
That's
Swift.
true, yeah. That's why I feel like I get to tune out when you talk about Taylor, because I know that you're going to tune out when I talk about Harry.
Exactly.
It's a give and take.
So the next time Haley comes out with a new album, you can have this. You can have the flow.
Yeah, exactly. It'll just be you sitting there with a blank face.
It's just Taylor is in whole re-record era right now.
And I love that for her. Like, I really, like, as much as I don't fully understand Taylor Swift, I support what she's doing.
But did you hear...
I love that she's taking back her power. We love a powerful queen, you know?
Yes.
Like...
Did you hear that record companies are now thinking of... So the whole reason she's doing the re-records are coming out right now and not, like, haven't come out earlier is because the way that record companies have their contracts written up now is
Yeah, it's a licensing issue or something.
Yeah, you can't re-record the music and make it your own until 6 years after the original release date.
Yeah.
But record companies now, because of the success of Taylor's Versions albums, want to extend that from 10 to 30 years after it originally came out.
And I can see them getting away with that, especially as
I can see them getting away with it too. I just really hope they don't.
But the problem is they're going to.
I know. And it sucks.
Like, realistically, the problem is they're going to.
Yeah.
And it does suck. As some, like, not just for Taylor, but for any artist out there who got taken advantage of when they were kids. And I don't necessarily mean in the essay way. I do mean as, like, in a contract way. But also, like, that's, you know what I mean? Because I think that people don't really realize that when you, and I think the K-pop fans get it because they've seen more of it, they're more aware of it. But the only reason that the K-pop fans are aware of it is because they've accepted the fact that, like, 9 times out of 10, the people who are, like, the pop artists that you see, they're not happy.
Yeah.
They're not, because they're getting carted around like sideshow puppets and basically being told, dance, monkey dance, you know what I mean? Yeah. And as someone who was in the One Direction fandom, knowing what I know now, I don't think I could have, in good conscience, supported what the record labels were doing to those boys. And I can't support what the record labels were doing to Taylor Swift at that time either. Like, I can't support what the music industry is in general, and that's a really frustrating thing because I genuinely love music. So it's one of those catch-22s of how do we support the artist without supporting the terrible, terrible, terrible things that they're going through and the contract that they have essentially been held a gun to their head and forced to sign.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying physically, I'm saying more of, like, there are manipulation tactics that they use, I guess is what I'm saying. And they're very good at it. They're very good at what they do. That's why Simon Cowell has lasted as long as he had.
Yeah.
And if I die, maybe Simon Cowell did it.
Which that also puts a difficult decision into Republic Records as well, which Republic Records is the record label that Taylor Swift uses now, because they've let Taylor Swift re-record all her past music with that she did with Big Machine, and she keeps the masters to those. And she currently has the masters under her 4 albums the 4 new albums that she recorded with the company. So I imagine they'll just keep it that way. And I imagine that for the other artists they have on the record label, they also let them have their masters. But will Republic Records also... The question is, will Republic Records also instate something like that? Which I don't think they will, but at the same time, if they do, that would be a really crappy thing to do, because they would basically be saying, hey, Taylor Swift, you can do this, but for the rest of you, nah, you don't need to. Which I guess it's not a problem if they're already letting the original artists of the music keep the masters. Then it's not an issue, because if they get to keep the masters, then there is no issue. That's the whole issue.
Yeah.
So I think Republic Records isn't gonna do it, but for everyone else, it's like, well,
kind of like
it's a really crappy thing to do.
Yeah. And I think that's why you have to support artists that are smaller, that aren't doing it through those big record companies. Even if you don't necessarily love their specific music, I think it's really important to support them in that, because they are making it their own, and they're taking not ownership, but I guess ownership. They're taking their power back of, like, you know, they said I could only do this if I had a big record label, but you know what, damn it, I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to become bigger than them, you know? And I think, and for me, it always comes back to Louis Tomlinson. I think that's something that he has done. He was blacklisted for so long because of the fact that he was speaking out against... In his own way, he was speaking out against Simon, and he was speaking out against the terrible, terrible things that the industry does. And that is one of the... Obviously, Louis Tomlinson is an incredible artist. He is an incredible lyricist. He was One Direction. Do you know what I mean? Midnight Memories was his album. Like, most of those albums he wrote, once they could write, he was One Direction.
Yeah.
But also, I think... because he has such talent, it's so incredibly important to support him in doing it on his own, because that's showing the other people who may be scared to do it on their own that it is possible. It's a lot of work, but it is possible. Don't take the easy way out and get trapped in these atrociously horrific contracts. Take charge of your shit and do it yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm so immensely proud of him for, because he did it on his own. And I think for those of you who haven't seen his All of Those Voices, a documentary, I believe it's on Paramount, it's like, it really opens your eyes to a lot of things. And I'm really proud of him, and I wish that other artists could kind of see, like, that it is possible, and that just because you don't have a record label, you're gonna be okay, you know?
Yeah. Which, there's a lot of, I don't know if she could do it, but I mean, she is a billionaire now, so she probably could. But
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people being like, well, now all she needs to do is create her own record label.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all that's left for her to do in the music industry.
Which, at the same
At least
time,
that I've
I
seen.
think... So, creating her own record label could go two ways, because it depends on how much she's involved in it, which, if she is the owner, she's going to be super involved in it.
Yeah.
If it's literally called Taylor Swift Recording Company or something like that,
Yeah.
she's going to be super involved in
I
it.
feel like she would name it something after a cat.
Probably.
Kitty Records.
The Meredith Grey Recording Studio.
No, that's what ours would be called, babes.
Um, but like, if she got to the point where she could keep creating great music like she's been putting out these last few years,
Yeah.
and also owning a record company that all of these smaller artists can come to, and while they're getting binded into a contract, it's not a contract where there's any stupid loopholes where she gets more money and they get exploited, and like, you know, everything is theirs to own. Obviously the record company has to get a cut of profit.
Yeah, but it's a
that's
fair
just how they work. But
thing.
like, they don't go behind the artist's back and be like, I own the masters and I'm gonna sell them to anyone I want.
Yeah. There's no shady shit. That's, I think, all that we as fans of these artists want. We just want our artists to be able to produce what they want to produce, something that they're interested in, and just something that we can then enjoy, and they can enjoy putting out, and enjoy the creative process, and enjoy the touring process. And again, as someone who is not a Taylor Swift fan, the clips that I have seen of the Eras tour, it looks like she's having a lot of fun. It looks like the fans are having fun. It looks like she's having fun. And it seems like a vibe, you know? And I think that's more of what the fans want, is they just want to be able to, in a non-creepy way, most of the time, want to be able to feel closer to their favorite artist.
Yeah.
So, you know, take that, do what you will.
But yes, when a new Harry Styles album comes out, you can have the floor.
Thank you.
But
Honestly,
then,
see, here's the thing.
all the way.
Here's the thing. I struggle immensely with listening to brand new music. I don't know why. I think it's because the older music is comfortable, it's familiar.
Yeah, it's because you know the lyrics and the song and the vibe of the song.
But, like, when HS1 came out, I remember really liking Sign of the Times. I remember really liking Watermelon Sugar. I remember really liking Kiwi and Adore You. But I didn't get into the rest, really, because it just, like, it was overwhelming and it was a lot. And then by the time HS2 or Fine Line came out, I didn't even try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I was free of One Direction and Harry Styles' hold for a couple years, and then Voldemort, or He Who Shall Not Be Named, got me back into Harry Styles with Harry's House, specifically with Matilda, specifically with Music for a Sushi Restaurant and Cinema. And through those, I was able to kind of rekindle my love for Harry Styles' music, and I basically got dragged right back into the fandom.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily kicking and screaming, but I will say the first time that I read a new fanfic, and I will say it was a Larry fanfic, the joy that I got from it was like, okay, I'm home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I will give a recommendation. The first one that I reread was The Secondhand Unwinds by Kings of Everything on AO3. That was a masterpiece. Yeah, not sponsored. And then I would listen to, or I read Tired C, and I sobbed hysterically. And now every time I read it, I text this motherfucker, and I'm
also
like,
not sponsored.
He's fighting for his kind of quiet.
So I get that same sentiment with Taylor Swift, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that I'm a fan of her, and I won't try and hide the fact that I'm a fan of her. I'm literally getting a cardigan that has 1989 and then TS. Her initials are like on the side of it in like on like a little tag or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't usually get her mulch, because most of her mulch actually has her face like in big print on the front or back of it, and I'm
that's
just
a lot.
I'm not that kind of a mulch person. I would rather have mulch that's like it's subtle mulch.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
if you know, you
tasteful.
know. If you
Yeah.
know, you know.
Yeah.
Not, oh, that person likes Taylor Swift because there's
Yeah.
a giant face of Taylor Swift on the front.
And that's kind of how I like my merch too. I do appreciate just a good classic boom right there. Hey, how's it going? I like this person.
Yeah.
But also I do
Oh,
like a
my mic was-
tasteful. Oh, that person likes Harry Styles because I know that reference because I also like Harry Styles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also, and this sounds really silly, I kind of love like fanfic merch. There isn't much out there, but I want like a Tired C merch collection
Yeah.
because that is my all-time favorite Larry book. But I want some of that as well. And I'm sure there's Taylor Swift fanfic, right?
Not that I know of, but there probably is some will.
Hold on. As the king of AO3. Okay, maybe not the king, but you know what I mean.
But, like... Oh, not to mention, whole merch is overpriced. It's...
All merches, babes.
It is, but... whole products used to be affordable, but now they're getting to the point where it's like, okay, some of this is...
You have to be a multi-millionaire to, like...
Yeah, the cardigan that I bought, $86 for a cardigan.
That's crazy.
Do I regret spending that money? No. Should I? Probably, but...
Probably.
But
no
still,
tea, no shade, but
at least I can get the fact that $86 is so expensive for a cardigan.
This is actually really interesting. If you look up Taylor Swift on AO3, which is my choice of whatever, it doesn't. There's not like UX Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
What was that again? I'm sorry,
What?
I didn't see that.
I didn't say anything.
Well, oh, what's that? Oh, look at that.
Oh, okay.
But there's not necessarily like UX Taylor Swift, like you run into each other at the Grammys and become best fucking friends.
Yeah.
Mostly because I think the majority of her fans are AFAB people that are probably not going to be into sleeping with Taylor Swift, and I don't think that there are enough of her fans that are actually straight that would want to sleep with her to be like, ooh, I'm gonna write a fanfic about me fucking the shit out of Taylor Swift. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, and most of her I'm gonna say it, the demographic of her fans are mostly straight women. Or straight girls. Girls too,
straight
women,
AFAB
really,
people.
But, yeah, AFAB. So... Yeah, I imagine there's not. Although, I will say, that's another point I want to make. So, there's a whole... I mean, before she drops every album, there's, like, a little speech she either puts on Spotify or Apple Music that you can read. It's also in the sleeves of, like, the vinyls and stuff. But in this one, This is not the first time. This is the second time that she's addressed this, because she had to address it when 1989 originally came out as well. But she basically wrote in there that she's straight and that there was no other tendencies and whatever. And this is why I don't like gaylors. But the gaylors.
Which is problematic because I am a Gaylor. If I'm going to be a Swiftie, I'm going to be a Gaylor.
They absolutely tried to cancel her. And I've been like, I'm not listening to 1989 because she said that. I'm like...
Which, like, if she is genuinely straight, that's fucking awesome. Good for you, I guess. But also, who cares? But also, like, have you seen her? There's no way she's not at least a little fruity.
Yeah.
But also, it's none of my business, so who the fuck cares?
So, what you have to remember that that fruitiness is a scale. I can't believe I can't believe I just said that. But
I want to vomit the fact you said that. But it is true.
Fruitiness
It is
a scale. So, if she does,
are you a banana or are you a peach? That is the scale.
If she does have a little bit of foodiness to it, it could be for the fact that she likes women, but
the camera's gone blurry.
I know. I don't know
it's
why.
Like, yeah,
it keeps unfocusing.
You have to at least
I don't know
believe
why.
that.
Huh? I don't know why it keeps unfocusing.
But also, I'm also, so I can say that word, so it's fine.
But,
it's our word.
There it comes.
Your camera's pissing me off now.
It's never done that before, so I don't know why it's doing that right now.
See, it's just telling you that she's a faggot.
Well, what I'm saying is she could have thoughts and shit about,
thoughts. She can have impure thoughts because she's a human.
Stop. I'm saying that she can be gay to a point where she doesn't actually date women.
So she just sleeps with them?
No, it's like how I'm gay. Like, I can find women attractive, but I'm never going to...
Do not finish that sentence. Do not finish that sentence.
I'm never going to...
Don't fucking say it!
That. But I'm saying
oh my god, I'm actually gonna...
You're the same way. Shut up.
Yeah, because like I probably would sleep with Taylor Swift, or not Taylor Swift. I would sleep with Taylor Swift for petty reasons. I would sleep with Harry Styles just because I would want to see if that was the only thing that could get me off as far as men goes. I would also probably sleep with Louis Tomlinson and Niall Horan, maybe Zayn Malik, but I can't do Liam.
You're gonna get us demonetized.
I don't think you're leaving this in, are you? Or if you are, you're just gonna put a huge long bleep over all of this.
I'm keeping all of it in.
You're like, I'm so fucking sick and tired of editing. I'm done.
No, I don't think those... I'm sorry, but I don't think there's foodiness there, because she's addressed it twice. That she is...
I for 22 years specifically said that I was straight. Anytime anyone asked me.
Okay.
It's called internalized homophobia, babes.
Yeah, but she's also...
And just because you're an ally, you can still have internalized homophobia.
True.
Like I said, this will be the hill that we die on.
I guess we're gonna have to...
And I pray to any and all gods that may possibly be one day. She's like, we can make a podcast and I can be like...
Well.
That was a lot. I'm really sorry.
That was a lot. I'm just trying to make good content here, and this one is crazy, to say the least.
Rude and hurtful.
You know it's true.
I'm only slightly crazy.
I'm sorry, the voices. That's not
what voices? Girl, what voices?
The voices you listen to.
What voices do I listen to?
Your own.
That's called a conscience, babes. Do you not have that little voice?
Then your conscience is messed up.
My conscience is messed up. My conscience allowed me to watch in church on the regular.
Oh my god.
You cannot leave that in. You cannot leave that in.
Then stop saying shit.
Well, then stop antagonizing me. I don't think that was the word I meant to say.
I don't know, but...
Also...
That's a great place to leave off this podcast.
Wait, no, I want to... Hold on. Look how pretty. Appreciate it, Tyler.
Bye.